And greetings to everyone worldwide. This is the TonicMan, just in case all you new folks have never heard this call before. We call me the TonicMan because we talk about these wonderful, miraculous, remarkable tonic herbs that are such a tremendous reason why we have such great results with the JC Tonic, which of course was created by my dad, and which of course was created many, many years ago, so many years ago. Wow, holy cow. He started thinking about it in 1922. He finally had it on the market commercially in 1943. Well, he started in 43. He really got going in 45 when he started a company, and it was booming, and it's been booming ever since, saving lives. So folks, you on the call for the very first time, you want to start thinking in terms of some of the things we mentioned, which would be very helpful for you to pay it forward, because that's what we ask of you. Nothing else, only just pay it forward. Tell somebody who is in need. And you all know people in need. We all do. I've known people for all my life. You have known people for all your life. Why? Because in this country, at least, everybody is sick. And the tonic will do a great deal to alleviate all their problems, or most of them, or some of them, or a great proportion. Who knows exactly what, but we all know one thing, that when you drink the tonic on a regular basis, you feel better, you get better, you live better, you have a better quality of life. Everything changes so magnificently. And if you stay with it, as many of our members have, and who some are on the line tonight to share some things with us, you will see yourselves that if you stay on it, stick with it, do that 1 ounce a day, it's going to darn well keep the doctor away a lot more than you're having experience with today. So, and I mentioned worldwide because, when we created the company, called it Jurak Worldwide, I'm a dreamer and an idea person. So I thought, look, why would I just do it for people in my hometown or my home province or state or country? Let's do it for the world, because although in America today probably we're sicker than most people in many countries, every country is coming up really fast. It's a marathon, but there's a lot of countries that may win it. When you look around the world, people are suffering all over the place. You don't hear as much because there's social medicine in many countries, but even there, Canada has socialized medicine. But we have tons of people in Canada who drink this because whatever they got, even free, well, mind you, it wasn't free at all because they pay you 40-50% income tax, So if you charge 40 or 50% income tax in America, you could probably have free health care for the world. So, nothing is free. Well, there's an old saying about there's nothing in life that's free. There's always some hitch to something somewhere. And so we've seen that with many, many things. And of course, I could go on with what I'm talking about on worldwide and how we want to help people. But this call is for you to maybe get some ideas and tips how to do just that. Do your part. Do your little share, or a big share, because it's a network marketing organization. So you can have a big piece of the pie or a little piece of the pie or no piece of the pie. If you want to use it for your personal use and not share it, you're welcome to do that. We just know that by the time you start feeling better and things starting to happen positively, you'll all, in all likelihood, want to talk about it. So we have some rewards for those who want to talk about it. And the biggest reward, of course, is to drink it free. So we have a plan for that as well. As a matter of fact, we have a long-term ambassador of health who actually developed the idea how you can drink free. And I'm going to ask him to come on the line a little bit later on and explain to you exactly in detail. So what you'll hear today are really shortened versions of everything, so we can really get to the point. And then when you listen to this call again, you can pick it up and make yourself some notes and use the same things that the experienced people who are going to speak tonight have done successfully. So we'll cover a few points, and one of the very first ones I wanted to cover was, of course, this virus thing that's going around in not only our country, every country, all over the place, some worse, some better. In the U.S. of A., well, there are some states that have done really, really remarkably well, and I know one. I live in Florida now, so I know that Florida is a shining example of how to do it right. There are others, and then there are others that have done it completely wrong, and there are some countries that have done it completely wrong, and some that have done it pretty darn well. So if you look around the world and really get the true news, not the fake news, about the virus situation in different countries, you'll find a lot of countries did not lock down, did not wear masks, had people doing regular things, going to school and so on, and they were no worse off with the virus than we are. But we got a really, really, well, I don't want to say bad example, but really, really, well, you know what? I'm going to ask our pal Betty, who lives in Canada, to come and tell us about the virus, what's going on, and also, of course, what's really going on in Canada, why it's so different than in the U.S. So for tonight, for all the callers, when you are to speak, you just press *6 and you'll be live on the call. But if you're not speaking right away and you decide to *6, put your own mute button on your own phone on. So if there are any background noises until you start speaking, they won't come through on the call, okay? So if you *6, you'll be able to get on, and I'm going to ask our pal Betty to do just that. And Betty, if you want to *6, let's see if my new system works.
Hi, Anthony. Can you hear me?
Oh, sure can. Betty, you heard what I was saying? Just pick it up from there and talk a little about what you've experienced. I mean, you speak to hundreds, literally hundreds of people on a regular basis, so you've heard it from everybody. You've heard all kinds of stories. Tell the folks a little bit. I'm sure they've heard it too, but tell them maybe what they can expect and, well, just say what's on your mind.
Yeah, well, every day I'm on the phone, of course, especially in times like these now that everyone is concerned, obviously, about the virus and what's happening. Unfortunately, here, I'm in Ontario, Canada, but right across Canada, things are still shut down. We had our stay at home extended now until early June. No outdoor activities. I mean, wives are going a little bit crazy because their husbands haven't been able to golf in over a year. And it's just to the point that, you know, I'm thinking maybe it's just because everything is so bad in that respect that people, they're giving up hope, a lot of them. You know, we've had a lot of suicides, obviously, but that's happening all over the country. Businesses are closing down. People are losing their livelihood. And for us Canadians, you know, we look at people like yourself, Anthony, you're in Florida, and things are wide open, and people are really starting to understand what this is about, and we can come out of this. But unfortunately here, things are still very, very tight. So as usual, I spend my days on the phone and talk to people about the JC Tonic. I've always said the same thing for the last 31 years, that the JC Tonic will strengthen your immune system. And we all know, because of the virus, that's one major thing, is that people want to keep their immune system in great shape. So the majority of my clients, they don't worry at all about the virus because they're taking their JC Tonic, and it's very, very rare that they're getting ill. We had a special about a month ago, which was great, from the company, and a lot of people, you know, they're very good about what's happening. They'll buy that extra bottle that they get for free on the special, and they'll give it to somebody to help them out. So I'm getting a lot of feedback about things like that. I do get a lot of calls, though, especially in the last month or so, where people are very concerned because friends of theirs did take the vaccine, and now they're very concerned because more and more information is coming out about it. So I'm telling them, please just get them on the product, get those immune systems bumped up, and I'm sure in the end things will work out, but they won't be quite as stressed just knowing that they're doing something to help their immune system. So it's changed a little bit, you know, in calling the people. I mean, I still get all the wonderful stories about how the product is working, obviously. I've got those on a daily basis. And so now it's just changed a little bit in the importance and the urgency of trying to get more people on the JC just so we can get over this hump. Last year, actually, on April the 12th of the year 2020, when news came out about the virus, we had our own Dr. Scott Whitaker come on the call. He talked for about 45 minutes on the virus and on the JC Tonic and how the JC Tonic can be instrumental in protecting us from the virus. So I would ask everybody to go on their latest email blast, which has a list of all the conference calls from, even longer than the last year, actually. It goes back probably about 50 or 55 calls on there. And just check on April 12th of the year 2020, and you'll see Dr. Scott Whitaker. And click on that call, and I think if you hear what Dr. Whitaker has to say, you're going to be very, very secure in knowing how much the JC Tonic can benefit you. So that's one thing I would advise people to do. And just continue on. Try to strengthen your immune system, eat healthy, get exercise, and try to get outdoors as much as you can. I know here in Canada, again, things are locked down really tight. I mean, you can't even have 2 or 3 people as a get-together, or they'll come along and the police will be there knocking on your door and giving you a fine of about $700. But, things are changing. You can still go outside and take a nice long walk and enjoy some of the sunshine and some of the fresh air now that the good weather is here. And that's important, just to kind of keep hopeful. This isn't going to last forever, obviously. Things are getting better in a lot of countries around the world, and it's a day-to-day thing. I tell people, pray, just keep praying. Everything's in control with God, and He's going to take care of us.
And drink lots of JC.
Yeah, drink lots of JC. Bump it up, take double or triple.
So I wanted everybody, I wanted you all to hear that it's kind of a sad story that so close to us there in Canada, that life is terrible, comparatively speaking, to here. So, boy, count your blessings that even if you're in a state that is still kind of locked up, not as locked up as Florida is or some of the other states, that it's even worse somewhere else.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm not making this into a call of whys and wheres and wherefores, but I don't know. People are people. They're everywhere. They're all the same. So how come in one place it's like that, another place it doesn't have to be like that? Go figure.
No,
I'm sorry, Betty, that you're living through that, but we need somebody up there in Canada to keep the fires burning and keep the JC Tonic going, so you're it.
Well, I can't keep enough of it in stock. All my own personal clients here in Canada that I ship to right across Canada, they're calling me all the time. It got to the point now that they'll say to me, okay, put 4 bottles aside for me for next month and mark down 4 for every single month. And it's like, oh my God, I better open a warehouse down here, just to be able to keep enough inventory for everybody. That's
Betty, I'm so happy you mentioned that. It leads right into the rest of the call, which the call was announced to be one that we're going to give people some ideas how to drink free and so on. So I'm just going to grab that thought and tell everybody, those of you who did not live through the specials we had, the virus specials that we called them, because you had not started drinking yet, or you may not have heard about it, that was a way to actually, if you got 4 bottles, you would get 2 free, so it brought your per bottle cost way, way down. And you can do that even still today with getting on auto ship. So if you're in the position, as Betty is, that people are ordering, because she orders and then she supplies people in Canada to a large extent. Some of them she has ordered direct and we ship direct to them. But she also has the service of making sure that she's got stock for them. And you can all do that. So whatever is good for your customers to keep them in supply and keep the supply flowing is what you do. So if you get on auto ship, you can actually get this now. As an ambassador on auto ship, you get it for about $45 a bottle. So that leads into the rest of the plan that we have for you, those of you who want to drink free. Because if you want to drink free, there is a way to do it very, very easily. And with the numbers today, you get 5 bottles for $230. I'm just going to ask our pal Lenny, who started the whole process 20 years ago at least. He didn't know how to pay for this himself. So he had to use ingenuity. What is that? There's an old saying, necessity is the mother of invention or something like that. He had to invent and figure out a way because there was a necessity. He needed the tonic for himself. So Lenny, why don't you jump in here and tell the folks exactly what you did and how they can do it as well, even 20 years later.
Yeah, 20 years later, that's true. I tell you, Anthony, when you're broke and you want something, you have to get inventive. I literally spent all night into the morning hours. I think it was like 1 o'clock when I finally figured out how I can get JC Tonic. And it was really simple. And today it's even more simple because, like you mentioned, we do have an auto ship for 5 bottles. And we have another alternative auto ship for 3 bottles. But I'm going to talk about 5-bottle auto ship that you have right now because when I did the math, it allows someone to drink for free because a 5-bottle auto ship is only $230, including shipping and handling. So here's the math on this because get your pencils. I think it's exciting because if you can drink for free, why not? Why not? And that's what I had to do 20 years ago, and I still do it to this very day. So here's the math. You purchase the 5-bottle auto ship for $230. Now, we know the retail cost of 1 bottle is $60. So you take that 5th bottle, that's yours. You drink that. Share 4 of your bottles at $60 a piece. That comes up to $240 in your pocket. You do the math. I mean, that's the easy math, right? You pay $230, 4 bottles gets you $240. That means you're drinking free and you have enough money to buy another 5. In other words, you have enough money before the end of the month to pay for your next auto ship. That's what I had to do, folks. I literally had to not sell. I really want to emphasize that. I didn't get into a selling mode, okay, even though basically that's what I did, but I got into the sharing what I was doing mode. I hope that makes sense. In other words, I didn't go out there and start selling bottles of JC Tonic. I went out there sharing what I was doing for my health. And I always ask the really good question, what do you do for your health? And people love to talk. They just do. So a lot of times you have to know when to be quiet and just listen. So when I used to ask, what do you do for your health? What do you do? And people will tell me their regimen or what they're doing, or some don't do anything at all. And the next question they're going to ask me is, what do you do? So I always told people, well, I found this elixir, but it's contraband. And they're like, what?
Hey, that's
Anthony, they're like, what? So I always like to make people laugh. So they go, what are you talking about? I said, well, this is from Colombia. I'm not supposed to talk about it. And they're going, come on, tell me what you got. And I said, no, kidding put aside. I found something that really helps me, my immune system stronger. And one of the wonderful things is that my blood is clean. And they're like, what? What do you mean your blood's clean? So it gives me a little chance to show them the booklet, what it is, what it does. And nowadays we got the electronic version, but I like to carry the physical one with me, how it reads the blood and so forth. So I don't say too much. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they start saying too much things about the tonic, and they go on and on and on and on. And then that's when people feel that you're trying to sell them. So let me give you some good advice. Don't say too much. Let them read the booklet. Don't give them all the information. Just tell them how you're feeling, how it's helped you, and ask them, well, do you have any health issues? That's another question I ask people. And you'd be surprised what people have nowadays. I say, wow, that's too bad. I keep my health up. You see, so you have to just get into conversation without selling, without becoming a salesperson. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is share what you're drinking, and don't give them all the details right away. In other words, I don't tell them, oh, I'm drinking a product called JC Tonic. Have you ever heard of it? I never do that. I always just say, oh, I found this tonic herb formula. It's so good. I love it. So guess what the next question is? Well, what's the name of it? Oh, it's called, that's when I make, it's called JC Tonic. And they'll go, what does it do? You see, so you have to lead them to ask you questions. When you do that, your chances are you got them interested. But if you try to rattle on everything and try it, I'm telling you, it doesn't work that way. So just slow down, ask questions, listen, and let them know what you have. One of the biggest things I did, I'd say, here, I carry a sample bottle with me now, and I put on their sample bottles writing on it, and I let them know, because I put it in a big Ziploc. I let them know nobody drinks from that. I have these little Dixie cups, and I just pour them a little bit, and they try it. So if you want to drink for free, get on the 5-bottle auto ship. And if you're afraid of that, then that may be the mechanism that pushes you a little bit. Because if I didn't drink JC Tonic free in the very, very beginning, I may have never been able to drink it because I was flat broke. So Anthony, that's a simple way today is becoming an ambassador of health, get on the 5-bottle auto ship and do exactly what I said. Drink the 5th bottle, that's yours, and just retail the other 4 for $60. And you're giving them a discount because what I tell people is I show them the website and they see 1 bottle for $60 plus shipping and handling, and they're like, whoa. And that's what I tell them. You know what? I can save you the shipping if you get it from me. So they pay me the $60. And guess what happened this month? Oh, it's only the 15th, right? Whew. I had to order 24 bottles. Because
wow. Oh, that's great.
There's a buzz. Yeah, it's crazy, but if you just talk friendly and ask questions, the tonic sells itself. I'm already behind. I'm waiting for 2 more shipments to come in. I've ran out, and I'm like Betty. I can't keep enough on hand right now.
That's it. I was just going to say, Betty and you doing the same thing, supplying the people, and that is great. That is exactly. It really is strange, for all you new folks and those that maybe haven't heard Lenny's story before. It really was 20 years ago that he thought about this, and it's been the same way ever since, that people can drink free by sharing some and drinking at least 1 bottle for themselves free every month. And it just then goes, I know Lenny's never paid for his ever from that day on.
No, never have.
Yeah, so that's what we want all of you to be doing to begin with. You want to make $5,000 a month? That's fine. Don't start with that. Start with drinking free. Start with, as Lenny says, tell, don't sell. And if you just chat about the product the way Lenny was suggesting, people will warm up to that kind of a presentation. Sure, it's a presentation, but it doesn't appear to be one. It seems to be just chatting, like you could be talking with somebody about the new cereal you just saw at the store and bought and tried. It's the same kind of a thing. And people start getting more interested and curious and wanting to know more. And then the next thing, of course, is they'll want to try a bottle. So, Lenny, I'm really happy that you put that out so straightforward. No one should be able to miss how to do it now. They've got the map right in front of them, the road map. And they don't need a GPS to follow it.
And in Canada, if you're an ambassador of health, instead of getting 5 bottles, because you're very generous, Anthony, to help us support Canadians, we get 6 bottles if we're on auto ship. So that's a very, very good deal. Brings the cost down.
Yeah, but tell them the rest of the story. Why 6 bottles?
Well, because you're getting 1 for free, but as an ambassador, you're also getting an extra one when you're on.
So you see, folks, when we ship 4 bottles to Canada, it's like about $80 or $90 or $100 somewhere in there. Whereas when we ship 4 bottles here, it's $20 or $30 or something like that. So we do a little something to try and offset some of the shipping. And then on top of that, the Canadians have a big exchange rate to pay US dollars. So those are the reasons we do that. And we also do that for our other international customers. And that means that all of you who have friends and family in every country, Canada or any other country, if you want to get them drinking, they will get the 4 bottles, they'll get the 2 free included, and that'll offset those extra charges. So don't think that because it's international, oh, they won't be able to afford it. Of course they will, because we help out to make sure everybody around the world can afford it. When we say worldwide, we'll do whatever it takes to make this worldwide. So we'll help out wherever we can, and that's what we've done all along, and we've done it in Canada for years now. And, of course, some of the other countries we've done for a few years as well. And people are grateful, and it makes it affordable. So not to worry about that. Okay? All right, Betty. Thanks to you, Lenny, too, everybody. Those are really, really great examples of how to do it if you want to build a business. And building a business, again, in my books, is starting by drinking free. And talking about drinking free, here is a little nugget. We asked people to text in or send a message if they have a good question that they'd like to put on tonight, but they couldn't get on the call. And this one lady, her name is Martha. She's also been another user of JC Tonic from the 80s, and, well, of the KM before, and then the JC Tonic since 1997 or 98. And she did like a lot of our members do. They give a bottle to somebody for free and say, you try this and you will see. If you take it religiously the way I tell you to, I will give it to you and you will see what it does for you. Those are the people that are very, very hard to convince because they're into all the medications and so on and so forth. And you try and present it to them and they refuse, and then you tell them there's a money-back guarantee, and if you drink an ounce a day for a month and nothing good happens, I'll give you your money back, no questions asked. And some people still, but you know they need it badly, and we all have some of that in us to do a little charitable work, if you will. And there are quite a number of our members who have done just that. And Martha did that with a friend of hers who actually came from a cancer clinic with bad news. And Martha said, look, if you drink this, it's going to at least help you. To what extent, I do not know, but it's going to make you feel better. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help you if you have to take any of those medications. And off the lady went. So I mentioned that the other day to Martha, speaking with her. I said, what about that pal of yours? She said, you know, I gave her the bottle and I don't know, but I'll find out and I'll tell you. And like, I don't know, 2 hours later, she called me back. She said, she's going to call you. And the lady called me maybe half an hour later. And she wanted to have a lot of questions answered, which I did. And I said, but did you not feel anything at all on that first bottle? Nothing? She said, no. I said, it's impossible. Did you take an ounce a day at least? She said, no. I said, well, what did you do? Well, she said, you know, I took a bit, my husband took a bit, and then we put it aside, and then I tried it again. I said, well, that's number one. This will not work if you take an ounce every 3 or 5 days periodically or something like that. With any health issue, particularly with yours, you're going to need a sledgehammer. So I said, first of all, you have to drink it really, really regularly. And if you want to give it a try, of course, in life there are never any guarantees, but I told her about a few cases that we've had that people had quite great results and were quite happy. And I said, look, I used that old expression that Lenny always uses because the lady that introduced him on her last phone call, she said, what if it works? After being told to leave him alone. So I said to her, I said, besides, what if it works? She said, okay, I'm going to place an order. She said, I'll get another bottle. Well, she's in the UK, and I said, we can send you a bottle. It's not going to do you much good. You're going to need much more than that. She said, okay. She said, you know what? I'm going to get the 4 bottles. I said, good, because we give you 2 free bottles included in that cost. So she placed the order online, and before we could even process the order, Home Office gets a text, hold it, cancel my order. She said, cancel my order because I want you to double it. So she said she has her husband who's decided he wants it, and her mother who has some dementia problem, she's going to get her on it. And so you see what one free bottle did, folks. So never underestimate a little charity, because we've got a lot of examples. There is one in particular of a fellow who's given tons of free bottles to all kinds of people. And happily, I was able to get him on the line tonight. And I want him to tell the story because it's really remarkable what's happened in his life since he's been on the tonic. It's remarkable, like the stories of Lenny and Betty and everybody else. Where is my pal Cecil? You've all heard him before, I'm sure. Okay, he's there.
Yeah,
Mr. Cecil, you heard what I was saying? Take it away, pal.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been on the juice now a little over 18 years. And in 8th grade, which back then they didn't know, I took a blow in football and cracked my lower vertebrae. 2 of them are separated at the bottom, which we didn't know all this. And then later in life, I had issues with my back, blew out a disc, which, before I blew out the disc from 33 years old to 43, I was in bad shape. I run a restaurant, had a hip replacement, after the 10 years. I couldn't function. I was depression because I couldn't sleep when you're in pain all the time. And these doctors never could help me. And I didn't take much from the doctors like pain medicine or hydrocodone. I just worked through it best I could. And a lady named Esther Franco, after I suffered for 10 years, I didn't want to end my life, but I wanted somebody to do something to me so I could just get a rest.
Were you thinking about ending your life?
Well, not ending it, but having somebody do something to me where I would probably be in a hospital for a while.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only place I could probably get some rest. They give you something to sleep. Just when you go without sleep, the pain is so bad, you think different thoughts when you're depressed. Nothing's working. And like I said, I was from 33 to 43. I went to a witch doctor that gives you vitamins, tried that, went to acupuncture. You're looking for hope anywhere you can find it. You talk to people and ask them, and I've heard a lot of crazy things. Well, Esther Franco, after 10 years, she's been drinking this stuff now 30 years, and she's 70 years old. She came in my restaurant. Her boys work for me, and she knows I'm sick, and she had a bottle. She does cleaning service, what she does. She does buildings, office buildings, whatever. I thought it was oven cleaner, what I thought it was. I told Esther, you got a bottle of oven cleaner from a pit? She goes, no, it's whole body tonic. I said, oh, it's whole body tonic. Well, what does it do? She said, it does everything. I said, oh, here we go. Well, she gave me her little spiel. I got high cholesterol, blood pressure. I'm depressed. I can't sleep, pain. She said, that's all going to go away. Well, I kicked her out of my restaurant best I could and quick as I could because I told her she was crazy. 2 other ladies that she got on the juice came to me and said, you need to try. Well, I said, okay. I didn't believe Esther, but the other 2 I believed. I drank it for 1 week, and my best friend, Jim Cave, has a deal under his spinal cord. He's in bad shape, and I was the guinea pig. So after I drank this for 1 ounce for a week, I felt a little better. So Jim wasn't going to drink it until he for sure this worked. So I said, well, let's go another week. That's just 1 week. I said, I don't know if it's mental or physical, but I do feel different. And after the next week, I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning, working all day long. Come home looking for something to do when I couldn't get off the floor at my house after working 6 hours laying on the floor. Depression went away. Cholesterol was 247, went down to 125. My joints don't hurt. Everything is unbelievable. I tell them I feel like Superman. Now I'm 61 years old. I'm still getting up at 4:35 in the morning, out working the young guys. And, he's talking about these free bottles. Well, hell, if somebody saves your life, like Anthony and his dad with his company saved my life, I told him I will be a spokesman for you as long as I want until I get tired. When I get tired, I'm not going to do it anymore. Well, they started running those promotions. Man, I get them bottles here. I'm giving them away. I don't know how much I've given away. I don't go a day without telling 2 or 3 people. Of course, my story's a little longer, which I've probably listened to Lenny here. I better cut mine down a little. But I show pictures. All my buddies say, your stories are great. You got no pictures. Well, heck, I start taking pictures. Where's the sickest people? They're at the old folks' home. Well, we're 3 for 3 at the old folks' home. One guy was in a wheelchair for 3 years, hadn't talked in 2 years, which is Robert. Now he's out. They said he wouldn't live about another 3 or 4 months. So after he started drinking the juice in 2 weeks, he got out of the bed. Hadn't been out of the bed or a wheelchair. Another month and a half, he's driving a car. Now he's fine. I got another man in Tyler, Texas, 92 years old at the old folks' home. My nephew knows him. We got him the juice. Guess what? He's lifting weights again and doing push-ups. And the nurse said he could get out of the old folks' home. That's hard to believe. Well, it's all true. I'm one of those guys, I told Anthony, when I get tired of talking about it, I quit. Well, I've gotten worse. People, some of my friends, like I said, I get a free bottle, 2 bottles, I'm giving it away. Some of them drink it, some don't. The ones that don't, I take it back. And then some of those guys I give a free bottle to, they hear from my other friends what it did to them. Well, they call me back. He said, I really didn't take it right. They took an ounce, skipped 3 or 4 days, take an ounce. Well, I don't know how many got back on it, and they're still on it after 5 or 6 years. But my preacher always told me there's 3 things that go along with religion. It's teaching or preaching. That is, donating your time to organizations or your church, or you're a giver. Well, I'm a giver all my life, and there's nothing better for me to give this bottle to somebody. It's hard to get them to drink it. They can mix it with pomegranate juice, grape juice, whatever you can get it down them. A lot of them complain about the taste, but that's the only complaint I would have, what people tell me. But I tell them you can mix it with anything. But like Anthony said, I give so much away I can't even explain. And Anthony helps me sometimes. He's a good man. We're out to, help people. It's not a money issue with me. He saved my life. I'm looking to save somebody else. There's nothing better than, I don't have much education, but when you save somebody's life, man, they don't forget you. One lady called me an angel, and I said, well, I'm just Johnny Appleseed. Anthony and his dad are the angels. I'm just dropping a few seeds. And some of them are going to stick, some won't. But you stay after them. All my friends, I never quit on them. I just keep plugging along, telling them another story, and so-and-so's on it, give them a call. I want Lenny to call me, Anthony, you give him my number. I need him to call somebody for me.
Sure.
He was kind of the same shape that Lenny was in. Lenny's a story of itself. I talked to Lenny a couple of times. Man, what he was and what he is now is an unbelievable story too. But like Lenny said about the blood, I took pictures of my blood. First time I saw it, it's bright red. Nobody has bright red blood, and I saw it 11 years after I drank this. My pharmacist looked at this bottle and said, this will oxidize, purify your blood. This is for your kidneys. This is for your liver. This is for high blood pressure, cholesterol. It's all in there. My pharmacist said, I can't believe this is all in one bottle. He said, every one of these herbs we put into medicine, boy, said we have to go to generic because this is so high and it's hard to get, which it is. When I got my pharmacist tell me that, that's when I really took off. But the blood, if you ever can go get a pound of blood, take a picture of it. Mine is bright red. Every doctor says there's nobody has bright red blood except a baby when it's born. Well, I show them the picture. I'm not there to make them look bad. I'm trying to prove a point. But it's hard to hit the doctors. They just, they're run by the FDA. That's too bad. But I do want to thank Anthony for letting me get on the call and thank him again for saving my life.
Before I start bawling here, Cecil, you're welcome, and we're glad you're still alive. And your pal Betty is on the line. Why don't you and her exchange a couple of words?
Hey, Betty.
Hey,
yeah, she's my new bookkeeper. One day I want to meet her. I don't know where that's going to be.
Up for ribs.
Yeah, you better not go to Canada to do that. They'll put you in jail for a few weeks before.
Yeah, after I've talked to them a while, they're going to let me go. I'm going to save them while I'm there.
Maybe.
But maybe Betty come to Dallas, or maybe we all come to Florida. I think we ought to get Lenny. We all go to Florida, spend a couple of days close to Anthony. We'll go out, meet each other.
I think before all of that, we should go to Dallas and you get the Dallas Cowboys drinking the juice.
Well, believe me, I'm trying, and I thought I had an in, and he didn't come through for me. But I'm going to run into Jerry. I'm in the same kind of woods he's in. I know where he eats, where he hangs out.
Good.
So I would like to say something because I talk to a lot of your clients and they tell me, that you gave them a bottle of the JC Tonic and they are so thankful. They absolutely love you and they know your heart is in the right place and, it's a real
Well, this stuff will make your heart better.
Yeah, no, they think the world of, yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, I tell them, sometimes I can't even believe this stuff does what it does. I mean, it's really hard to believe. But everybody that I know that stays on it, man, they're just a new person.
And the JC, you know what that stands for, just like a lot of us do. And it is a gift from God. Like, I know that.
That's what I tell them.
Yeah, I've done this with my heart, for 31 years. And I've seen miracles, and I've heard miracles. And when you can do something with your life that makes you feel good and you know you're helping others, I mean, it's the best thing.
Oh, yeah. Really. Especially you help somebody with their health. Like that one guy, Tommy, he worked for me 26 years, and his wife has diabetes, and every day she comes on, puts her feet up, they're swollen, her kidneys down to 40%, and Tommy called me and said, man, you've been preaching to me for years. He's spending $800 to $900 a month on medicine. And when I go to Mexico, he has me buy medicine down there for him, bring it back because it's cheaper. And he got her on the juice. And I said, when do we go back to see the doctor for the kidneys? In 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks? At least give me a month. I said, okay, give her 2 ounces a day for 2 weeks. Well, within 2 weeks, and her name's Maria, her kidney went from, the doctor told her, because they did the test in there and said, wait 20, 30 minutes, we'll get it back. And he walked in there and said, what the hell are you doing? It scared her because he's very timid. And she said, well, I ain't doing, no, you're doing something. What are you doing? And he said, I ain't doing nothing. Your kidney went from 40% to 106.
Oh, my God.
He about fell out of the chair. She got her 2 daughters on it. She got her 2 sisters on it, her son on it, and Tommy on it.
But not the doctor.
Nah, he's too smart. It's hard to get those real rich people and the real smart people. I can't deal with them. I need the common folk like me, just ones that got some common sense, man. But I always tell them, what do you got to lose? The doctor ain't helping you get sicker. Just try it. Like y'all say, just try it. And boy, if they try it 2 or 3 weeks, they're just like, wow, this is it.
Well, I think you could have a radio blog show, and I think we'll set that up because you sure have a lot of good stories to tell folks. And
man, 18 years is unbelievable.
And helpful for them.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I appreciate everybody on the call. It's much longer than normal, but it's a great call. It's only really half of what I wanted to cover tonight. But everybody has stayed on the call because of the great news and information and the feeling on the call. It's really a family-friendly, helpful kind of feeling that we're trying to make sure it permeates through the organization and everybody jumps on that bandwagon, especially these days with so much unhappiness in the country and in the countries everywhere screaming at each other and fighting and complaining. We need to temper people down and de-stress people and get them thinking about the better things of life, like, for example, saving a life. And there's plenty of lives to save out there, folks. So all you new folks on the call, and even the ones that have been with the JC for some time, there's a lot of meat in this call for you to go out and do everything you possibly can in your spare time to help thy neighbor. And Cecil gave you some great ideas. Betty gave you some. Lenny has some. I mean, by the way, Lenny, if you want to call Cecil and give him your phone number right now, you can if you want.
Yeah, let me give you my phone number. You call me because I got somebody I want you to talk to.
All right.
Just text it over to him, Cecil, and he'll call you.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, you call me maybe tomorrow, next day.
I can do that.
Perfect.
Talk to all y'all.
Yeah, thanks, Cecil. Have a great one.
All right, thank
you so very much. Lenny, of course, thank you so very much as well. Everybody on the call, thank you for being here. It's been a great call. A lot of great stuff. Please come back next week. We'll continue this. And for all of you on the call, if you want to jump in to do things like Cecil, Betty, and Lenny have done, please. That's what we want. We want you to share what's happened in your JC Tonic lives, how you've managed, how you've helped people, how you drink free, how you can share, anything and everything. Don't help everybody else make the decision to get on this wonderful bandwagon and pay it forward. So on that note, I wish you all a great rest of the evening and a great week to come. And don't forget, take an ounce and feel the bounce. Good night, everyone.
Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be rep everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.